Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to Make Your Mark channel. And here with me is Thomas Chen, and he is an international speaker and coach, as well as mentor for many business people who are into entrepreneurship and who are is actually his coaching is specialized in high performance of an individual, whether it can be your business, it can be entrepreneurship, it can be small business or sports or anything like that. As long as you want to improve yourself, improve your performance in whatever you do, go and find him. So, Thomas, how are you this morning? Thank you for doing this with me.
Yeah, great. So thanks for the opportunity. Really excited to be here to share. How am I doing this morning? I think every morning is the same, being a busy, headless chicken. Okay, I won't say headless chicken, lah, but it's essentially busy but fulfilled. That's what I always want to design my life to be, right? Being able to do as much as I can and yet find fulfillment in what I do. So that is to me optimizing every single life and every single second of my life. Yep.
Wow, that's great to hear that in the mornings. You're so full of energy right now. So, can I ask you what is your recent achievement as a international speaker and coach? Actually, maybe you can introduce more about yourself. In also, maybe you can do it right now.
Yeah, sure. So just on a side track, I think the high energy is from the coffee that I just drank. I usually wake up, I'm just like most human, like tired, shag. Okay. But yeah, I think getting coffee works for me. So in terms of just to introduce a little bit about myself and in terms of recent achievement itself. So for me, I'm managing two portfolios. I'm a wealth advisor focusing on investment and insurance strategies. And aside from that, like what Yaya have mentioned, I also run a coaching and training business where we focus on high performance strategies. So whether is it on goal setting, whether is it on critical thinking, communication, speaking, etc., whatever that will bring a professional and entrepreneur to the next level, I deep dive into the topic itself. And in terms of the coaching and training aspect, right, how I personally define achievement, right, is to impact the lives of others, not just in terms of numbers, but in terms of depth as well. So I'm really thankful, right, that especially during the COVID period, I have opportunities to be speaking around the world, whether is it Malaysia, whether is it UAE, whether is it America, or even China itself, because using the online platform, it is just so accessible. And, I can easily prepare for a keynote without much arrangement. Like right now, I just prepared this in like 5 minutes. You don't even know what I'm wearing underneath. But it's good because at the end of the day, right, the most important thing is for me to share my message and content that hopefully will inspire and impact people. So yeah, my greatest achievement was during the COVID period, where I'm really thankful to have the opportunities to, I think, speak more than 10 different countries. So, yeah.
Wow, very nice. I'm very happy for you for your achievement and for your all your hard work and also for you to impact other people's life also. So, as you know that International Women's Day is coming soon on the 8th of March in 20 this year. And just want to ask you, how do you define woman empowerment and what does it mean to you on a personal level?
Great question. So I think these are the kind of like terms where different people will have different definition. So personally, right, women empowerment, right, to me is having the power to create the life that they truly want, not being restricted by external factors such as societal standards, missing opportunity, lack of education, etc. And that's why I feel that in the next few generations, in fact, our current generation, women are getting more and more empowered because they are having the more and more power, right, to design the life that they truly want because
Mm,
of the abundance of opportunities that's opening up to them.
very true,
And
very
yeah,
true.
personally, correct. Yeah, so this is something I think many of us can relate with, lah. And personally, how does this impact me, right? I'm speaking from the shoes of someone who is in a multi-generational family that is female dominated. So I can
Oh,
see the transformation, right? From my grandmother to my mother to my elder sister to peers, female peers in my generation itself. And yeah, the transformation is amazing.
that's the you're right. We all have the choice all of us have the right or choice to make to design our life, and that that alone takes a lot of courage, to especially for women, right? For women, because they have to do a lot more. Like if we do this one time thing, let's say we do an activity one time or for in our life, right? Women have to do it 10 times, right? With their emotions, with their a lot of things. So, in your opinion, right? What role does self care play in empowering women to achieve their goals and succeed in business? I'm talking about a woman entrepreneurs, especially, and I believe that self care is important because as we all know that running a business is not easy. It is doable, but it's not easy. There's a lot of ups and downs. So I believe self care is important. And how do you think that we all should prioritize self care in our professional field of work?
Very good question. So when we talk about self-care, right, essentially it is about how we take care of ourselves in different areas, such as mentally, physically, spiritually, etc. And in the pursuit of success, along with the responsibilities that we have, right, many a times we tend to neglect self-care, especially women. They have to balance their profession, they have to balance taking care of their family, they have to balance nurturing their children, and sometimes they just forget to take care of themselves. But what I would encourage, females or everyone to do is that for us to really go far on this journey, we really need to take care of ourselves, because it is only when we are at a good state that we can truly function at our best, that we can truly give value at our best. Correct? How are we able to take care of our children when we are physically and mentally suffering? Think about it, So I appreciate all the selfless women and people out there, but if you really want to go far in this journey, right, you really need to take care of ourselves first and yourself first. Because if you break down in this journey, your children, your family will be the one who suffer. Right. So I mean, it can be as easy as things such as getting sufficient rest, getting good nutrition, going exercise, speaking about your problems, all of these different self-care routines, right? To make sure that you are at the optimal physical and mental state, right? To do your best. And
Mm.
yeah, that's very, very important for everyone, especially women.
Thank you so much for the insight. Thank you so much for that. And I believe self care, right? I believe you believe in this to love and kindness, right? Love and
Mhm.
kindness to ourselves first before we take care of others, right?
Yeah.
And maybe in your own opinion, how do you think you can incorporate love and kindness in the professional field of work, and maybe in your coaching work, and maybe in other people's type of work like myself in photography? And why do you believe that these qualities, right, of love and kindness can be successful in terms of life and in terms of business?
Right. So when we talk about, business, when we talk about profession, we always think that we have to put clients at the forefront, which is not wrong. We have to give them a lot of love. We have to do what's best for them. We have to give massive value to them, which is great. But not many remember that they have to give love and kindness to themselves as well. And bringing back to what I've just said earlier, you can only deliver your best when you are at your best state, right? So I see a lot of entrepreneurs, they go an extra mile to serve their clients, which is great. But if the cost is you suffering mentally, physically, spiritually, then you have to reconsider itself, right? Because it is a two-way relationship. We want the best for our client. The client should also want the best for us. That can create a sustainable relationship. Because if we keep giving and giving and giving, sooner or later, we will be empty and we have nothing to give. And then that's when things start to break down. So if you really, really care for your clients and you want this to be a long-term relationship, you have to care for yourself as well. Don't just give and give and give. You also have to give to yourself.
Oh, that's a very good. So I like the words that you use: a sustainable relationship between colleagues or between working partners, between what do you call it? There's a lot of when I say relationship, right? It's not about couple of family or wife and husband relationship. It can refer to working, can be referred to teamwork, it can refer to business partnership and everything, right? So I like the word that you use, sustainable relationship, which is rarely talked about in the modern business era today. So it's good
Mm.
that you brought it up. Thank you for that. Okay, so there's a lot of change maker. There's a lot of the people use this word change maker a lot, right? In terms of motivation, in terms of inspiration, they want to be the change maker for their own industry, or for to change. They want to be a change maker so that they can change the world, help to improve the world, make a better place for us to live. So I'd like to ask you, who are some of the change makers who are role models who have inspired you, and how they have influenced your own path as a person in your own business?
Great, great. So personally, I'm a huge believer in like finding mentorship, finding role models, emulating their success. So just to name a few, one of it is Tony Robbins. I always love how he is always out there delivering massive value. And honestly, he has reached a level where he do not need to work already. And yet he's like a hustler, man. He's
Mm,
like doing so many sharing, he's organizing so many events, he's delivering so many programs because he truly wants to value add. And every program that people buy from him, he actually donates it back to charity itself. And we can see him as someone who works based on his life purpose. And this is something that I aspire to do, which is whenever you are doing things right, running businesses, whatsoever, yes, it is important to be profitable, etc. But are you doing things that are aligned with your life purpose? Because if you are doing things which are aligned with your life purpose, right, you wouldn't feel demotivated, you wouldn't feel the fatigue, you wouldn't feel that you are at the end of the road because it is something that you live for, it is something that you live by. And that's how you can be so inspired and motivated, right, to work every single day. And that's one of the secret why you say I feel so energetic, like even in the morning, right? I mean, aside from coffee, it's because I'm doing things that are aligned with my life purpose. And it doesn't matter even sometimes that I don't earn from it. As long as I'm sharing and these values will be able to inspire people, right? I am really thankful for it already. So yeah, Tony Robbins is one of it. The second one that inspired me a lot is this person called Tom Bilyeu. I'm not sure if any
oh,
of you
yes,
have heard of
yes.
it. Yeah, he's the founder of Quest
Impact
and
theory.
right now Impact Theory, correct?
Yep.
So he is someone who I would really respect in terms of being humble, in terms of being down to earth. Because with all the success he have, right, he is still constantly learning, he is still constantly growing. And even something that he said, right, inspired me that is when he employ people, he don't look at them from their CV. He look at them based on their attitude, based on their character, based on their goals. And right from the onset, he will already align them with the organizational culture. Because no matter how talented they are, if they are not aligned with the organizational culture, they will not be a good fit. And so he is someone who truly teach me about being humble and value people based on who they are rather than what they can provide. So yeah, these are two people that really inspire me as role model and also in terms of running businesses.
That's very good to hear. Tony Robbins and Tom Bilyeu
Really.
from yeah,
Yeah.
correct. The Tom Bilyeu is actually my idol, my number one inspiration to create all these motivational interviews with people in Singapore. So okay, so what is your number one motivation? Because you talk about motivated, you're so motivated, right? So what is your number one motivation for doing what you do?
Hmm. Great question. So, as cliche as it may sound, it is really to impact lives. But let me elaborate a little bit more about that. So, I talk about the importance of aligning with our life purpose. And it does not need to be something that is noble. Let me put it out there right now. It does not need to be something that is noble. It can be something like, oh, my life purpose is to constantly improve myself, or my life purpose is to build strong relationships, or my life purpose is to have freedom. Whatever it is, it does not need to be something noble. But what is important is that you identify it. And more often than not, our life purpose is something that develop even when we are young. And I realized that back when I was in my schooling days, right, this is something that I already practice because I love to take up leadership roles. I love to organize events. I love to put together programs. And why is it so? To benefit more people. And even right now, right, I am in a few non-profit organizations. I also love to do the same thing, right? Find ways to give more value to people. And that's why, in terms of running my business, it is the same thing also, finding ways to give value to people. And this is the common theme that I realized that is aligned with me, regardless of which phase am I in my life. And that's why I realized that that is my life purpose. And everything that I do, right, is aligned with that. How can I give more value? Yes, I will have my down days. Yes, I have days that I feel really tired. Yes, I have days where I feel very fatigued. But when I remember about my life purpose and what I'm doing that's aligned with that, right, I will be recharged and rejuvenated. So that is something that motivates me, I would say, even to the level that it's aligned with who I am. So yeah, go out there, find your life purpose, and do things that's aligned with it.
Wow, that's a very good. You're talking about alignment, self-alignment, right? And I recently did a research on alignment from oneself to a group of people. So, which is quite debatable, and I think we need another another Zoom call to talk about that alignment. And that's good that you highlight on that, and it is very important. I feel that self alignment to what to your life purpose, right? That's what you are talking about, and it's very very good. Thank you for that. And okay, so let's go to uh, uh the the partnership. Okay, so maybe we can talk about what are the qualities or the skills do you believe are essential for women who wants to succeed and make a difference in the world.
Mm. So I think one of the qualities, right, based on my experience of working with business partners who are female, and based on my experience with my family interaction, right, it is truly independence. Because I would always say that empowerment is strongly linked to independence. You know, not being dependent on the people around you for opportunities, but rather finding your own opportunities, you know, not depending on the resources you have, but rather having the resourcefulness to find more resources, right? It is something that gives people that power. Yes, it is always great to have a network. It is always great to have financial resources. It is always great to have knowledge and experience. But what is even greater is where you are in the situation where you don't have the network, you don't have the resources, you don't have the know-how, but yet is still able to find it. That is the difference maker. And I learned this from this show called Billionaire. I think something like Secret Billionaire or Billionaire Undercover whatsoever, where they actually put
Oh,
people who are billionaires,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
in a isolated area where they have no resources, no contacts whatsoever, and they manage to bounce back up. That, in my definition, is true independence, where they are able to just bounce back up without anything. And that is what I feel is a very important quality for people, in fact, women, to succeed. Yeah.
Interesting analogy and very good example about uh, the quality of independence for women entrepreneurs because it's true that uh, I'll be honest with the audience here that I've been uh, connecting with a lot of single moms and single parents, especially women, and they have been struggling a lot. And what I've noticed about them, right, is the outcome that they acquire. They work very hard. They become independent, as what you said. Uh, Towards themselves because they realize that their daughters, the children are depending on them, and also their parents are depending on them. So it's like they suddenly have this urge of being independent, which is very important quality as what you said, and I totally agree with you. Okay, so maybe you can share with me an example in your lifetime when you have to make a difficult decision or even take a risk to further your career, or what are the lessons that you have experienced from this particular time when you it's very difficult for you to make a decision.
Hmm. All right. So here's the thing. Here's the belief that I have. If I am at this level and I want to go to the next level, I have to do something that I have not tried before. I have to do something that perhaps some people will consider it risky. Some people will consider it uncharted waters itself. And there are many times that I actually have done this. But of course, when I'm doing this, I would want to take calculated risks. I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. I don't want to put all my money into something. So I would say one of the biggest change, right, it was when I decided to do digital marketing, specifically paid digital marketing to further my business itself. And for those of you who have done paid digital marketing before, paid advertising before, you know, it can be one of the most scary things out there
Yeah, yeah,
because
I
every
agree.
single day you are seeing hundreds of dollars going to Facebook or other social media platforms, but you do not know if anything will come out.
Correct, correct.
But thankfully, with the mistakes made, with the experience I went through, with the learnings I have, it was one of the best business decision. And in terms of my wealth advisory business, that has been one of the main lead generator itself. So yeah, that's one of the biggest change lah, because I've made six figures, yeah, from that, but I've made five-figure mistakes to eventually generate six figures. So yeah, I mean it's all good lah. So yeah, don't be afraid to take risks. Of course, calculated risks, but ask yourself, if we really do what we are still doing right now, are we truly able to go to the next level? So that's the question you want to answer. Yeah.
Wow, this very good that you mentioned you made a five-figure mistake in order to reach to the next level, which is a six-figure income outcome. So wow, that is powerful, that is very powerful, and it can be applied to any jobs, any careers, or any entrepreneurs who are starting their business also. So let's go to the last question of this interview. I really thank you, appreciate you that you're doing this with me again for this interview for Make Your Mark channel, and about women empowerment, and for the International Women's Day in March this year. So, okay, the last question is my favorite type of question, because I myself am what I call am advocate to not giving up. So, in your experience, like, what does it take to rise up and achieve success as a woman in business, or maybe as a man also in business? And what advice would you give to women, as we're talking about International Women's Day, to women who aspire to do so, to open up their own or to start their own business? So, what what does it take to rise up?
Right. So I'm a huge believer in environment. I always believe that we are a product of our environment, not just in terms of social environment, such as the people we hang out with, also in terms of our digital environment. What are we reading online? In terms of our physical environment, what are we having around us? So if you want to have an environment that allows you to rise up, that allows you to be a great entrepreneur, that allows you to live to your best self, design that environment, right? Who are you hanging out with? What are you reading on social media? What are you having around you? Is that supporting your growth? Is that supporting your dream? Is that supporting your journey in building a huge business itself, right? So personally for me, you know, in my social environment, I have mentors, I have masterminds, I have groups of positive people who are there to support and motivate me, true friends who are there to bring me out through my darkest time itself. In terms of my digital environment, I am following a lot of, you know, true business practitioner. I am following a lot of motivational empowerment content, etc., which really influence my mindset towards that. And in terms of my physical environment, I'm having books, I'm having materials all around me, I'm having dream boards to remind me that I have to live to my best self. And I think this applies not just for male or female, but everyone. You know, if you want to reach that level, you need to have an environment that supports that level.
Wow, that's very powerful coming from you. And I feel that, okay, for example, let's say it's a scenario, I'm doing a business, right? And suddenly, 2 years later, my business partner do not want to do business with me anymore. So I'm heartbroken, and my business is totally a flop. So what do you advise for this, for me or for this person to rise up from, what do you advise him to or her to do?
Yeah, so that's a very good question because Eddie, in the running of business, we will encounter a lot of heartbreaks. Missing out on six-figure deals, getting cheated, poor investment, etc.
Yes.
I always tell people to do this, right? You feel free to process the emotions, feel free to cry it out, feel free to let it go. That is healthy, right? So different people will have different ways. Some of them they cry, some of them they go exercise, some of them they go drinks, whatsoever. But what is important is for us to, after processing those information, get out of it, right? So you can ask yourself a very simple question. Will feeling these emotions help me to further my cause? If not, why continue to feel it? Or if you are someone who is very good at managing your emotions, what I personally do is I use it as a motivation to work even harder, right? Use those negative experience to tell myself I don't want to be experience that again. So I use it to motivate myself to work harder. So if emotions are something that hold you back, then you want to ask yourself that question. Is it something that will change the situation? If not, why continue feeling it? If it is something that can propel you, use it and propel you forward. And that is how I use it to manage my emotions. Yeah.
Wow, that is powerful, man. That's very good. Okay, so we thank you for coming to this interview. We don't have a lot of time right now. In fact, we have only have 5 minutes. So, thank you so much, Thomas. Thomas, right, your name?
Yep. Okay.
I'm getting old. So, okay, thank
No
you so much.
worries.
And I maybe I just leave you to advertise yourself a bit, where they can find you, where can they get help from you, where can how do they contact you for any help if they require so. So maybe you can let us know.
Yeah, so
I
I
will leave all the
am.
links in the description
Yeah,
below lah.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks so much for the opportunity. So I'm on
Yes.
Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. All the handles are the same. Hello, Thomas Chen. I'm going. Let's have a talk. Who knows? Maybe something great can come out of it. And yeah, looking forward to connecting with all of you. Hello, Thomas Chen. Yeah,
Hello, hello.
yeah,
HELLO.
yep.
And Thomas Chen.
Thomas Chen.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you so
all the
much.
same.
Thank you so much. So, maybe just the last word that you want to leave for the audience right now.
Yes, I always love to tell people this. All of us, right? We only have one life. Live it to the fullest.
Very, very true. Thank you so much. And that's it. That's the end of our interview with our international speaker and coach. Maybe we can do another interview Zoom call again in the near future. And I wish you all the best. And thank you so much, guys. Thank you for watching, and do like and comment and subscribe. What do you think about this interview and everything? And we see you on the next interview. Bye bye.